The Galaxy Council convened in the Grand Chamber, its architecture spanning light-years in elegance, yet suffused with tension. Hushed murmurs rippled through the seats as representatives of 1,000 worlds waited for the verdict. At the center stood Cale Arden, a human whose presence alone seemed to ripple the very air. His hands were bound, yet his eyes burned with unyielding defiance. The council speaker, a being of shifting form known as Thalrex, raised a translucent hand. Cale Arden, you are hereby found guilty of crimes against the Confederation, including interference in planetary governance and incitement of rebellion. A chorus of alien voices erupted in agreement, each one layered in accusation. The gavel of judgment descended, echoing across the chamber, but before it could strike, a sudden vibration pulsed through the room. It began as a whisper, then a roar, emanating from the relic Cale wore around his neck. The relic, a small crystalline device etched with lines older than most civilizations, began to glow with an inner fire. The chamber lights flickered. Thalrex's form shimmered nervously as the council's instruments went haywire. Cale lifted his head, feeling the energy of the relic course through him. A voice echoed inside his mind, deep and resonant, bearer of justice. It was not human, not alien, something older, something alive. The words infused Cale with clarity and strength, washing away fear. The council attempted to advance, but the relic emitted a pulse that froze all technological systems. Weapons locked, shields neutralized, and communication arrays fell silent. The chamber was enveloped in a field of strange energy. Aliens froze mid-step, mid-gesture, staring as if seeing a truth beyond comprehension. Cale stepped forward, his chains disintegrating under the relic's power. "I am no criminal," he said, his voice amplified without effort. "I am the voice of the worlds you ignore. The innocent you silence. I am the reckoning of justice." Gasps reverberated through the chamber. Thalrex struggled to regain control, but the words of Cale seemed to bend reality itself. The relic pulsed again, projecting visions of countless oppressed worlds, their cries and hopes laid bare before every council member. An uproar erupted, alien delegates clamoring in confusion and fear. The council's authority, once absolute, now felt tenuous. Some staggered back, their forms distorted by the relic's light. Cale's presence had shifted from human to symbol, a living embodiment of justice. Cale walked the aisles between the stunned representatives. Every step seemed to reverberate like a heartbeat of the universe. The voice of the relic whispered again, guiding his intent. "Bring balance. Restore the scales. Let them see their failures." He paused before a section representing the militaristic Zorvani sector. Their delegates, proud and haughty, recoiled. Cale extended his hand, and the relic projected the destruction their conquests had wrought. Entire civilizations erased, planets drained of life. Silence followed. Not a single being dared speak. Cale turned slowly, letting the weight of truth press upon every mind. "You govern not with wisdom, but with fear. You punish without reason. That ends today." The council's throne room trembled as the relic's energy intensified. The chamber walls, constructed from materials known to withstand supernovae, cracked under its power. Yet Cale remained calm, a conduit, not a weapon. Justice flowed through him, not wrath. A faction of council members tried to attack, sending energy blasts, but the relic absorbed them, converting aggression into light. The attackers dropped to their knees, awed and terrified, powerless against the righteous force Cale now wielded. Cale raised the relic high. Its crystalline core flared, sending visions across the galaxy through quantum entanglements embedded in its design. Every world saw their own corruption mirrored back at them, every citizen witnessing the failures of those who ruled. Whispers spread among the council. Some pleaded, others collapsed. Cale's message was clear: the era of fear and oppression was over. Humanity, long underestimated, had returned as the galaxy's conscience. Thalrex, finally recovering composure, approached. What is this power?" it stammered. Cale's eyes met the speaker's, unwavering. It is the power of accountability. The relic does not lie. Neither will I. The relic's glow dimmed, but its authority remained. Kale felt it settle into a gentle rhythm, a heartbeat in sync with the universe. He lowered it, allowing calm to return, yet leaving the council irrevocably changed. Some delegates bowed in respect, others fled in terror. Kale addressed the entire chamber. Govern with justice, or be swept away by it. The choice is yours, but the galaxy has already chosen its course. The council chambers were silent, broken only by the distant hum of stars beyond the windows. Kale stepped back, no longer a prisoner, no longer judged. He was a messenger, a catalyst, and a reminder of what humanity had always embodied: resilience, courage, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. The relic pulsed one final time, its voice fading but leaving a resonance in every mind present. Bearer of justice, stand vigilant. Kale bowed his head, feeling the weight of responsibility, but ready. The galaxy would never forget this day. Outside the council chambers, the galaxy seemed to pause. Starships hung in orbit, their crews sensing the shift in power. Rumors spread at light speed: humanity had returned, and their champion wielded a relic of unimaginable power. Kale walked through the corridors, relic resting lightly against his chest. Council guards no longer challenged him. Some stared with awe, others with dread. The energy of justice he carried was palpable, almost tangible. He reached the observation deck, where the vastness of the galaxy stretched before him. Planets spun in silent majesty, unaware that one human's actions today had set a precedent across countless systems. Communications buzzed from worlds beyond. Rebellions that had been suppressed for decades ignited in hope. The oppressed now had a symbol, a human who could stand against the greatest powers of the galaxy. Kale sensed the relic vibrating, a gentle thrumming that resonated with the heartbeat of civilizations. Its whisper was no longer a command but a guidance: protect them. Guide them. A sudden alarm interrupted his thoughts. The Zorvani fleet had mobilized, attempting a strike from beyond the edge of the chamber's shield. Kale closed his eyes, letting the relic interface with the incoming ships. In a blinding flash, the fleet was halted mid-flight. Weapons disengaged, engines frozen. The Zorvani admirals were left floating helplessly, staring at the human who had just rewritten the rules of engagement. Kale spoke calmly, his voice reaching across subspace. Leave your aggression behind. There is no victory in conquest, only legacy in justice. His words struck deep, bypassing fear and touching conscience. Some Zorvani cried out in defiance, but others lowered their arms, visibly shaken. Kale understood the fragile balance of fear and respect. The relic's power was absolute, yet mercy defined him. News of his triumph spread to the Confederation's council chambers on distant planets. Leaders who had dismissed humans now debated whether to send envoys or surrender authority entirely. Kale descended to the council's central chamber once more. The remaining delegates, still in awe, watched as he placed the relic on a pedestal. It glowed softly, no longer imposing, yet undeniably alive. I leave this here, Kale announced. Let it remind you that justice is not optional. It is inevitable. The chamber hummed in acknowledgement. Some delegates bowed, others murmured quietly to each other. Outside, reporters and ambassadors from multiple species crowded the observation platforms. For the first time, humanity's presence was not only recognized but revered. Kale addressed them directly. The galaxy has many voices, yet the weak are often unheard. That ends now. Every world will be accountable for the life it permits and the life it destroys. Rebel leaders from distant colonies began reaching out, offering allegiance, strategies, and support. Kale listened, knowing humanity would need allies if it was to shepherd true change across the stars. Thalrex approached again, now trembling less with fear and more with curiosity. Will you lead them? It asked quietly. Kale smiled faintly. Not lead. Guide. The galaxy must find its own balance, but it will be our hands that remind it of the stakes. a delegation of neutral planets arrived in orbit, requesting audience. They had witnessed Kale's triumph and sought to understand humanity's intentions. Kale welcomed them, sensing the future shaping itself around him. He recalled every life lost, every injustice suffered under the old regimes. The relic had not only shown him visions but had refined his purpose. Humanity's return would be defined by protection, not conquest. The council chambers began reorganizing. Those who opposed Kale were replaced or sidelined. His presence had rendered obsolete any governance that relied on fear or deceit. Kale spent nights studying galactic maps, projecting influence and support where it was most needed. The relic offered insight, but Kale's human intuition guided the moral compass across the galaxy. Oppressed worlds whispered his name, Kale Arden. No longer just a human, he had become legend. Ships painted with human insignias now patrolled for protection, not dominance. The Zorvani fleet withdrew entirely, realizing that resistance would only make them targets of a force they did not understand. They returned to their homeworld, humbled and wary. Kale's words echoed in the chambers of power: strength without justice is a weapon. Strength with justice is a shield for all. New treaties were drafted under his watch. Worlds previously torn by greed and violence began tentative cooperation. The galaxy had found its first true arbiter, a human whose resolve could not be broken. Kale stood on the observation deck once again, watching stars flicker in the distance. The relic's glow mirrored the first light of dawn on Earth, a reminder that even after darkness, light returns stronger than before. He whispered to the relic, "We will protect them all. This is only the beginning." Across the galaxy, systems braced for a new era. Some would resist, some would celebrate, but none could deny the change that a single human, armed with justice, had brought. Kale's footsteps echoed through the hallways of the Council's headquarters, a rhythm of purpose. His mission was not vengeance, it was accountability. And every being that felt his presence knew the truth: humanity had returned, and it would not be ignored. The relic pulsed one final time that day, a soft heartbeat in tune with the galaxy. It had chosen its bearer wisely. Kale was ready. The galaxy, for the first time, truly feared injustice and revered hope in equal measure. The human who had been judged, condemned, and nearly destroyed now stood unopposed. Yet Kale did not rejoice in victory. He only understood the weight of what he carried, the responsibility of justice. As the stars shimmered, Kale Arden turned his gaze outward. Beyond the council, beyond the planets, new challenges awaited. But with the relic's guidance and humanity's indomitable spirit, he would meet them all. In the silence of space, a voice whispered again, almost tenderly, through the relic, "Bearer of justice, the galaxy is yours to safeguard." Kale smiled, feeling the immense gravity of his duty, and stepped forward into the unknown.